You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report's Scoreboard Show, podcast number 264.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana. Your daily audio sports section every single weekday between 1 and 2 o'clock.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we thank you for spending part of your day with us. Today is May 13, 2025. It's a Tuesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report, and happy birthday, Kaylee. I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and I love Central Indiana sports, coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. Producer Susie is in the control room in Jeffersonville. Coming up, we have tons of Pacers and NBA news and updates. The Colts are going to Europe again. Taylor in the NAIA Regional in Upland, plus tons of local high school scores and highlights, and the best news and notes section in all of Central Indiana sports podcasting. Also, we released our IU report early Tuesday. Grant Schaus talked about IU baseball and softball, plus IU basketball recruiting and Grant's expectations for the 2025 IU football season. And following tonight's Pacers game, we will have our reaction to the Game 5 result. Your Indiana Pacers can reach the Eastern Conference Finals for the 10th time in franchise history Tuesday. The Pacers go to Cleveland to try to finish off the top-seeded Cavs after Sunday's impressive 129-109 Game 4 victory that gave them a 3-1 series lead. Historically, this has been the round for the Pacers. They're 7-2 all-time in conference semifinal series. And after Sunday's win over the Cavs, the Pacers are 43-26 all-time in conference semifinal games. The Pacers previously made Eastern Conference Finals in 94 and 95 under Larry Brown, 98 through 2000 under Larry Bird, 2013 and 14 with Frank Vogel, and 2004 and last year with Rick Carlisle. Carlisle said closing out a series against a good team is never an easy thing to do.
It's just competition at the highest level. And this, one team wins, one team loses. The losing team always going to come back harder. Each game is going to have different characteristics. Maintaining the edge is a challenge. It's normal operating procedure in the playoffs. It's just, it's very unpredictable. It's very wild. Got to maintain as best you can. You got to maintain an even temperament, but with a really important eye and focus on the things necessary for each individual guy to do to help our team function the best. So that's really what it's about.
Donovan Mitchell's status for Game 5 is still up in the air after he was unable to put weight on his ankle at halftime of Game 4 Sunday night. Mitchell's averaging 40 points per game in this series. He did participate in Monday and Tuesday morning shoot-arounds. The Pacers are the underdog for the 5th straight game in the series. The Cavs are favored by 7.5 points in Cleveland. Indiana started the playoffs 120-1 to win the NBA championship. As of Tuesday morning, they're better than 10-1 at plus 950, the 4th best in the NBA according to the FanDuel Sportsbook. Oklahoma City is the favorite at even odds. The Knicks are second at 5-1 with the Timberwolves third at plus 650. The Knicks are a game away from the Eastern Conference Finals after beating reigning world champion Boston 121-113 Monday to take a 3-1 series lead as the series heads back to Boston. New York outscored the Celtics 70-51 in the second half, and Jalen Brunson finished with 39 points and 12 assists to lead the Knicks. Jason Tatum scored 42 points in an heroic effort, with the rest of the Celtics struggling. Tatum went 16 for 28, made 7 of his 16 three-point attempts, and finished with 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocked shots, but was carried off the court after grabbing his ankle with Boston down 9 with 2:58 left in the fourth. It appeared to be a non-contact injury. That is never a good thing. The Knicks last reached the Eastern Conference Finals in 1999 when they beat the Pacers on the worst call in NBA history. Not saying that it's happening. I'm just saying the Pacers and Knicks have played 7 times in playoff history, including the Pacers Eastern Conference semifinal win last year. Indiana and New York played for the Eastern Conference Championship in 1994, an absolute classic, the first time the Pacers were ever good in the NBA. And in 1999 and 2000, the only year the Pacers made the finals. The Timberwolves made 15 of 23 shots and outscored the Golden State Warriors 39-17 in the third quarter, and now leads the Warriors 3-1 after a 117-110 victory late Monday. Julius Randle scored 31 and Anthony Edwards 30 for the Wolves, who are now a win away from returning to the Western Conference Finals. After Pacers Cavs Game 5 Tuesday, it's the Nuggets and Thunder in Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Game 5 at 9:30. The series is tied at 2-2. Both games can be seen on TNT and the Max app Tuesday night. The Dallas Mavericks overcame heavy odds to receive the number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft. The Mavs will almost certainly select Duke star Cooper Flagg with the top pick, despite having just 1.8% chance of getting the top pick entering the lottery. The top 5 picks will go to the Mavericks, Spurs, 76ers, Hornets, and Jazz. ESPN's latest mock draft has Flagg to the Mavericks, Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey of Rutgers to San Antonio and Philly, respectively. Baylor guard VJ Edgecombe to Charlotte, and the Jazz, who had the best odds of landing the number 1 pick but fell to 5th, are projected to choose Oklahoma point guard Jeremiah Fears. The Pacers will pick 23rd, and ESPN has them selecting Colorado State wing Nick Clifford. Practice gets underway for the Indianapolis 500 Tuesday at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Open practice runs from noon to 2, then again from 4 to 6, with rookie and refresher practice from 2 to 4 p.m. Open practice will be held from noon to 6 every day this week through Fast Friday. Qualifying begins Saturday at 11 and ends Sunday, with the top 12 qualifiers racing for the top 2 rows at 4:05, last chance qualifying at 5:15, and pole qualifying at 6:25. The final practice is next Monday, with Carb Day Friday, May 23rd, and the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 at 12:30 Sunday, May 25th. Joseph Newgarden is the 2-time reigning Indy 500 champion, and Alex Palou is the 3-time reigning national champion and current point leader, having won 4 of the first 5 races this season. The NFL schedule will be released in full Wednesday, and we'll bring you all of the details on the Colts Report with Eli Edwards. Eli and I, and probably some others, will talk about the Colts schedule, the primetime schedules, and so much more Wednesday evening. We will probably release that first thing Thursday morning. We did find out Tuesday that the Colts will be playing the Falcons in Berlin, Germany on Sunday, November 9th. Also, the Vikings and Steelers will play in Dublin on September 28th, the first NFL regular season game played in Ireland. The Vikings will then stay in Europe and play the Browns in the first game in the London series on October 5th. The Vikings will be the first NFL team ever to play 2 games in 2 different European cities in the same season. The following week in London will be the Broncos and Jets on October 12th. The Rams and Jaguars will play in London on October 19th, and Washington and Miami are scheduled to play in Madrid on November 16th. We did get a few more teases Monday for the schedule. The season will kick off in Philadelphia, of course, when the world champion Eagles host the Cowboys on Thursday, September 4th. The Eagles will also host the Bears on Black Friday, the league announced on Monday. Also, Green Bay, Chicago, and Philadelphia, Washington will be a doubleheader on the Saturday before Christmas, and the Chiefs will host the Broncos on Christmas night. The Carolina Hurricanes are on the verge of a huge upset in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Carolina beat top seed Washington 5-2 Monday and now leads the best of 7 series 3-1. The NHL's all-time leading goal scorer, Alex Ovechkin, got the Capitals within 3-2 midway through the third, but Sean Walker answered 4 minutes later to put the game away. Andrei Shevnikov scored an empty netter for the final tally. In the West, Stuart Skinner stopped all 23 shots he saw, and the Edmonton Oilers shut out the Golden Knights 3-0 Monday to take a 3-1 series lead. Adam Enrique scored twice for the Oilers. There's just one Stanley Cup playoff game Tuesday. The Jets will try to even their series with the Stars at 8 o'clock in Game 4 in Dallas. The Stars went up 2-1 with a 5-2 victory on Sunday. The game airs on ESPN. To some news and notes, Andy Katz has Purdue as the number 1 team in the country entering the 25-26 season in his latest Power 37. He has Houston at number 2, St. John's at number 3, UConn 4, and Duke 5. Then Kentucky, Texas Tech, Michigan, Florida, and Louisville. IU is 30th. Hall of Famer and state champion coach Gary Andrews is returning to the girls' bench, this time at Huntington North as the Vikings girls' head coach. Andrews led Lures to 3 girls' basketball state championships, then led St. Francis's women to a national championship, and the last couple of years led Fort Wayne North to a couple of sectional championships. He has 630 wins between college and high school. Miles Weyer is the newest coach at Greenfield Central. Weyer played at Mount Vernon and the University of Indianapolis and has served as an assistant coach on the Fisher staff since 2021. Western Boone has named Jason Smith its newest boys basketball coach. Smith spent the last 4 years at Kokomo as an assistant coach after 6 years with the Ball State men's basketball program and is a 2015 Western Boone grad. Twin Lakes has a new girls basketball head coach in Betsy Adams. Adams was an Indiana All-Star at Twin Lakes and played at Valparaiso and Florida Gulf Coast. She's a previous assistant coach at Arkansas and Incarnate Word. Avon has a new girls basketball coach as well. It's Becca Hofler, who is a Valpo grad and spent the last 6 years coaching at Shelbyville, where she won 67 games. Warren Central tight end / defensive end Jeremy Finch Jr. has narrowed his potential college landing spot to 11 schools. Included on the list are IU and Purdue, along with Alabama, LSU, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee, Penn State, Illinois, Oklahoma, Michigan, Miami, and Florida. Steve Nelson tweeted Monday that Oak Hill's Trent Nelson will continue his golf career at Anderson University. The Frankton Athletic Department announced Monday that basketball star Joey Wright will play collegiately at Anderson. Wright averaged 12 points and a team best 4.7 assists for the 17-9 Eagles as a senior. Jeff Goodman of the Field of 68 reported that IU Indy has fired head coach Paul Corsaro. Corsaro was the 11th coach in program history and went 10-22 in his only year with the Jaguars. Corsaro led the University of Indianapolis to 2 conference championships and 2 NCAA Division II tournaments in 3 seasons as the Greyhounds head coach. He was a football and basketball star at Roncalli. To college baseball, Taylor opened NAI Regional in Upland with a 13-3 win over Grandview, Iowa on Monday. Braden Manning went 4 for 5 with a double, a triple, and 5 RBIs, and Mason David was 3 for 4 with a double, 4 runs scored, and 3 driven in. The 47-9 Trojans play Kansas Wesleyan, a 6-4 winner over Bellevue, Nebraska, in Game 2 Monday at 2:30. The championship is scheduled for Wednesday at 4 with a potential championship Game 2 Thursday at 11 a.m. Indiana Wesleyan opened the 5-team NAIA Regional at Lincoln, Nebraska with a 3-0 win over Mount Mercy, Iowa. The Wildcats are 30-20 after Brock Buckley's one-hit shutout. Buckley allowed just 2 base runners and struck out 11 to improve to 11-3. Nick Wiley had 2 RBIs with a sacrifice fly in the 6th and a solo home run in the 8th. The Wildcats then took a 5-4 loss to Weber International of Florida to fall into the elimination bracket. Indiana Wesleyan led 4-1 after 4.5 innings, but could not hold on. The Wildcats will now face either 3-seed Science and Arts from Oklahoma or 5-seed Mount Mercy again in an elimination game Tuesday evening. In college softball, IU Wesleyan fell into the elimination bracket of its NAIA Regional in Marion after a 4-2 loss to Rio Grande, Ohio. The 43-10 Wildcats will look to stay alive Tuesday when they face Coastal Georgia at noon at Sue Bowman Field. IU will play in the Fayetteville Regional at the University of Arkansas after receiving an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. The Hoosiers open the tournament Friday at 4 p.m. against Oklahoma State. Following number 4 Arkansas a huge favorite in the regional against St. Louis. Purdue is tied for fifth in the men's NCAA golf regional at Auburn, Alabama. Defending national champion Auburn leads at minus 13 as a team, with UCLA at minus 5, Georgia Tech minus 4, SMU at minus 2, and Purdue, Texas A&M, and New Mexico State all at even par. Auburn has the top two individuals with Braden Valdez and Jackson Coiven. Purdue's top golfer is Jackson Forrester, who's tied for 10th at minus 1 on the University Club course. The tournament continues Tuesday and Wednesday. IU's Clay Merchant is tied for 19th after shooting even par at Monday's NCAA Regional in Urbana, Illinois. Illinois leads Texas Tech by 2 shots, UNLV by 4, and Troy by 6 in the team standings after day 1 of 3 at the Adkins Golf Club. Illinois' Jackson Buchanan has a 4-shot lead after 1 round in the individual race. We move to high school sports, and we start on the baseball field where Tipton took advantage of 2 costly Tri-Central errors and scored 4 times in the bottom of the 6th to escape with a 10-9 win over their rivals. Aiden Gibbs went 2 for 3 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs. Nathan Hawkins was 3 for 4 with a double and drove in a pair of runs. For Tri-Central, Jacob Klein scored 3 times and drove in 2 runs. LaPel won its 20th game of the season, 12-2 over Heritage Christian in 5 innings. Darrell Gustin homered and drove in 4 runs, and Riley Hudson was 3 for 4 with a home run, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Hudson improved to 2-0 on the mound. Elwood won its 3rd game of the season on Monday, beating Monroe Central 9-8. Frankton won for the 6th time in its last 8 games with a 10-0 win over Taylor. Jaden Clem threw a 4-hit shutout for his first pitching win of the season. Mason Jones went 3 for 3 with a triple, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs. Kane Oakley drove in 3, and the Eagles had 5 extra base hits. Jacob Trueblood was 2 for 2, and Braden Boothby hit a double for the Titans. Alexandria scored 8 times in the 7th and got a much-needed win, 13-2 at Westdell. Jackson Brizendine, Adrian Smith, and Will Rowland all had 3 RBIs. Rowland homered for the first time this season. The Tigers are now 12-9. Eli Sherfy was 2 for 4, and Carter Flynn drove in 2 for Westdell. Mississinawa's 9-8 after Monday's 12-7 win over Marion. Callan Quaderer hit his first home run of the season, scored 3 times, and had 3 RBIs. Chris Bolden was 2 for 2 with a double and 2 RBIs for the Giants. Shenandoah improved to 14-3 after an 11-4 win at Anderson. Chase Ozenbaugh hit a triple and drove in 3 runs for the Raiders. Nehemiah Burns had an RBI and a run, and Caden Hutchison a double and scored a run for the Indians. Jay County took the lead with 6 runs in the 2nd, then added 12 more runs in the 3rd, and beat Muncie Central 23-4. Andrew Schemenauer homered and drove in 5 runs for the Patriots. Logan Campbell hit his 2nd home run of the season for the Bearcats. Fishers beat Yorktown 9-3 to improve to 19-4. Fishers had 13 hits by 9 different batters, including 3 by Carter Stroll. Luke Diebold was 2 for 3 for 9-11 Yorktown. Delta beat Belmont 5-4 on Cabe Stebbins' RBI double in the bottom of the 8th. It was his 2nd double of the day. Delta is now 12-7. Northwestern scored 3 times in the 6th and beat Wabash 3-1. Carson Griggs threw 5 strong innings, allowing just 1 run on 2 hits to improve to 2-2 on the year. The Tigers are now 15-5 overall and 5-1 in the Three Rivers Conference, tied for first with Rochester, a game ahead of Maconaquah. Daleville scored twice in the 7th and overcame Southern Wells 11-10. Noah Colvin had 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs. And Braden Sigler hit a single, a triple, scored twice, and drove in a run for the 8-8 Broncos. Winchester beat Wapahani 10-3. Grayson Acosta was 2 for 2 with a double and a run scored for the Raiders. And Irvington Prep beat Liberty Christian 15-4. Adrian Grover had 2 RBIs, and Zane Hoffman scored twice for the Lions. Some other scores of interest around the region. Roncalli won the Marion County Championship, its first since 2018, with a 7-5 win over Brebeuf. It was Mount Vernon 3, Hamilton Southeastern 1. Griffin Rackett threw a complete game 2-hitter, allowing just 1 run and striking out 5. He's now 2-0 on the year. It was Westfield 4, Greenwood Christian 0. Ian Wilson homered and drove in 3 runs. Clinton Prairie beat Lebanon 11-5. Alex King hit his first home run of the season and drove in 5 for the 14-4 Gophers. Rossville beat West Lafayette 10-4. R.J. Vontanen and Evan McDonald both drove in 3 runs. Rochester beat Peru 8-1. Tanner Reinertz had 2 home runs, his 4th and 5th of the season for the Zebras. Manchester shut out Whitco 6-0 behind Harper Stewartsman's 1-hit shutout. North Miami topped North Judson 9-8. It was Northfield 5, Cass 2. Mechaniqua beat Southwood 10-1. Devin Mitchell homered, scored twice, and drove in 3. Harrison beat Frankfort 5-2. Eastern Hancock got by Seton Catholic 1-0 behind Caleb Rutherford's 2-hit shutout. He struck out 13. And Northeastern beat Randolph Southern 22-0. Caden White had 2 doubles and 6 RBIs. Moving to high school softball, Madison Grant is 12-6 after leaving Tipton with an 8-4 victory. Olivia Dunham had a pair of doubles and drove in 3 runs. And Demi Havens went 3 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs for the Class 2A number 9 Argyles. Michaela Shinlob had 2 of Tipton's 6 hits and both of their RBIs with a double and a triple. Madison Wainscott picked up her first pitching victory in Class 2A number 4 Lapel's 10-0 win over Wapahani. She allowed just 2 hits, walked 1 batter, and struck out 7 in her complete game performance. Addison Bodenhorn went 3 for 3 with a double, scored twice, and drove in 3 runs for the 17-5 Bulldogs. Gracie Boggs hit Frankton in Class A number 9 Indianapolis Lutherans 4-0 win. Grace Kessinger made her pitching debut for the Eagles, throwing 4 scoreless innings. Frankton is now 10-6. 8 different Panthers had an RBI, and 3A number 2 Western beat Tippecanoe Valley 14-0. Brinley Erb hit her state best 15th home run of the season. That's 4 more than anybody else in the state. 4A number 9 Noblesville beat 3A number 6 Yorktown 9-1. Addie Emerson went 2 for 4 with a home run and had 3 RBIs for the 14-6 Millers. Anna Rinker was 2 for 2 for 13 and for Yorktown. Ava Cainrath homered and drove in 5 runs, and Westfield beat Pendleton Heights 14-6. Kaylee Smith went 3 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs for the 10-11 Arabians. Kalia McCarter and Natavia Wright combined on a 1-hitter, and Class 4A number 8 Hamilton Southeastern beat Anderson 12-2. Emma Wilson had Anderson's only hit, Sarah Friesen their only RBI, and Mariah Elliott and Lizzie Harney scored runs for the 5A Indians. Caston scored 5 times in the 4th and came from behind to beat Marion 8-7. The Giants are now 5-14. Ellie Callahan tripled and scored twice, and Addie Novakoski drove in 3 runs, and Liberty Christian 17-7 win over Muncie Central. Bailey West went 5 for 5 with 2 doubles and scored 4 times, and Westdell knocked off Centerville 12-11. Kinsey Anderson and Brooklyn Eden added 3 RBIs each for the 11-5 Warriors. Wabash scored 3 times in the bottom of the 6th and beat Northwestern 6-3. Addie Clark went 2 for 3 with an RBI, and Stevie Ray Hedges went 2 for 4 with a double and scored a run for the Tigers. Some other scores around the region. Fishers beat Carmel 12-0. Kate Murray became Fishers' all-time leader with her 19th career home run. Danville beat Guerin 6-0. Autumn Muncie threw a 2-hit shutout. New Pal 11, Newcastle 0. Katie Hirsch hit a home run and drove in 5 runs. Clinton Prairie blanked Fountain Central 14-0. Maddie Waddle had a 2-hit shutout, and Sadie Welliver went 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs for the 14-4 Gophers. Rochester beat Peru 11-6. Audrey Miller was 3 for 5 with 3 runs. Southwood topped Mechaniqua 4-2, and Natalie Sutphin is 10-4 on the season. Whitco got past Manchester in 9 innings 2-1. Addie Gar and Cassidy Skinner combined for 19 strikeouts. Cass beat Northfield 10-0. Emma Fitzhugh threw a 5-hit shutout. Central Noble beat Class A number 7 North Miami 7-0 behind Grace Swank's 2-hit shutout and 14 strikeouts. Crawfordsville beat Lafayette Central Catholic 15-5, and Northwestern beat Monroe Central 12-1. The latest SCAI coaches polls are out for softball. Alexandria is number 2 in the latest 2A poll, behind only Tecumseh. Andrean is 3rd with Lapel 4th, and Madison Grant 9th. New Pal and Western are 1-2 in the Class 3A poll with Yorktown 6th. Lake Central is number 1 in 4A, followed by Center Grove and Crown Point. Hamilton Southeastern is 8th and Noblesville 9th. And Riverton Park is number 1 in Class A with North Miami number 7. In girls tennis, Tipton beat Madison Grant 4-1 with 4 straight set wins. Alexis Gillum and Francie Condick dropped just 5 total games at number 2 and number 3 singles, and the Blue Devils double teams lost just 1 game. Madison Grant's point came at number 1 singles, where Caitley Dickinson outdueled Tipton's Catherine Helminiak 6-4, 6-1. Eastern swept Rossville to improve to 9-1 overall and 4-0 in the Hoosier Heartland. The Comets won it in straight sets in all 5 spots. Julia Salke and Reagan Princell improved to 11-0 on the season at number 1 doubles with a 6-1, 6-1 win. And Kinsey Eagle and Emma Buddy are 9-2 after a 6-2, 6-4 win at number 2 doubles. Yorktown defeated Greenfield Central 3-2 in a big Hoosier Heritage matchup. Mount Vernon beat New Pal 3-2. Bethany Blackley and Caitley Mitchell won for the Dragons. South Adams beat Blackford 5-0, and Anderson beat Elwood 3-2. In high school golf, Madison Grant defeated Westdale 191-231 in a dual meet at Walnut Creek. The top 4 Argyles all shot 50 or better, led by Mason Seward's 44. Bryce Yagi finished his round in 48 shots, Sawyer Stepp in 49, and Ryder Frank in 50. Yorktown edged Frankton 168-172 in a dual meet Monday at TPC in Yorktown. Nate Matthews was the medalist for Yorktown with a 38. Jet Hyatt led Frankton with a 41, with teammate Reed Utterback just a shot behind him. Cass got by Northwestern 168-169 in a dual meet at Green Acres. Hudson Whaley led Northwestern with a 39. Logan Duncan and Jackson Peel both shot 43s for the Tigers. Number 1 Westfield beat number 2 Homestead and number 12 Zionsville in a highly competitive 3-way meet at Monday Spring Preview. Homestead's Caden Baker shot an incredible 6 under 66. Westfield's Jake Cesari and Will Harvey were both 3 under par and still finished 3 shots behind Baker. That's a crazy round. Kokomo defeated Marion 165-235. Marion was led by Keith Shelton's 48. Looking ahead to Tuesday, a couple of big track and field meets, both on the girls' side. The Hoosier Heritage is at Mount Vernon at 5:30, and the Hamilton County meet is at Westfield at 6. A couple of big baseball games on Tuesday. Eastbrook goes to Oak Hill. Both teams are 4-1 in the CIC. Frankton is still in the race and goes to Madison Grant. Alexandria is at Elwood, and Blackford's at Mississinawa. Central Catholic is 16-5 and goes to Tipton. Rossville is 5-1 in the Hoosier Heartland and goes to Tri Central to look to go to 6-1 and tie Clinton Prairie at the top of the conference. Pendleton Heights is 12-5. They're at 15-3 New Pal. Both are in a 4-way tie atop the HHC at 7-3 with Greenfield Central and Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon and Greenfield happen to play each other in Greenfield on Tuesday night as well. In softball, Frankton is at Madison Grant. Alexandria visits Elwood. Eastbrook is at Oak Hill. Blackford goes to Mississinawa. Tri Central hosts Rossville, which is unbeaten in the Hoosier Heartland, a half game behind Clinton Prairie. And Clinton Central is at Tipton. In tennis, Blackford goes to Frankton. Madison Grant's at Alexandria. LaPel goes to Hamilton Heights. And in golf, Alexandria visits Oak Hill. And Tipton hosts number 1 Westfield. College baseball, Purdue is at Ball State. Purdue having won 6 of their last 9 and are 30-21 on the season. Ball State is 34-18. That game's at 3 Tuesday. And in women's college golf, Taylor, Indiana Wesleyan, and Marion begin the NAIA Nationals in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Marion began their open round at 9:10 this morning. Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan both tee off at 1:40 this afternoon at Eagle Crest in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.